So how do we identify a daily directional bias? Well, this is exactly what I'm going to share with you in today's video. Now we're going to go through the pound US dollar chart. I'm going to do a replay mode on the daily time frame. We're going to go through exactly how I would determine that directional bias and how I'd actually look at taking a trade on a reversal using the reversal pattern that you will be able to watch in the next video at the end of this video. So keep watching so you can watch that video next. It's going to help you to understand the use of the reversal strategy that I shared in the previous video. Now we're also going to go through how you can look for a trade and targets using the imbalance zone. So let's now go through and understand how you can use this directional bias on a daily time frame. Now, the first thing I'd always look for is where is my previous low in the market. Now previous low in this downtrend, we just zoom out quickly, this is in a clear downtrend. This is our last low in this market. This is where if price gets below this low, I'm not going to be looking to sell this market anymore. I'm going to be waiting for that retracement back to an area to look for a sell. Now everything will be much more clear once this happens. So when price does eventually break this low, which we'll see if we go forward if this happens. Okay, so now we've broken this low, we can draw out this lower high in the market. That is our lower swing high. Now what this is going to start creating is this is going to be my swing to downside and is going to be my trading range. Now we're below this low here in the market. We're not going to be looking for any more sell trades. This is not what we do as a supply and demand trader or a smart money trader. We wait for that retracement to look for another sell back down, or we look for the reversal for a counter trend trade back to the upside. Now I will show exactly how you can do all this in this video, so keep watching till the end. So right now we've taken any stops here, we've broken through, but what do we have on the way down? Well, we can now start to mark out areas, which these are areas of bearish. We just change the color to a bearish imbalance. So this is a bearish imbalance where you could be looking for the market to come back for that better entry out of this area where we have hidden areas of blocks of orders. And it's here we're going to see the market drop back to downside. So let's remove this. Now we'll continue to look for the reversal. Now the reversal, we will need to see a close back above this level currently. Let's continue forward and see what happens. So now we'll move this level down here. Yes, you could have perhaps caught a trade down, but why look for a trade here in the market, risking being caught out on a reversal back up? Now let's continue with the next candle. Now we see our reversal. So this is now to show you that the market is broken through these lows where we had potential areas of stops, taking that money out. Now we create the reversal after this bullish candle closes back above this level. Now what I'll be looking for a potential pullback to retest this level, to go back up to fill this first area of imbalance. We'll just remove those levels now. We'll have an area here of imbalance which needs to be filled first. We haven't yet gone into this imbalance. Now we could see a reversal here, but if I was to quickly use a Fibonacci to downside, there's my 50% level. This sits below the 50%. I'm expecting price to go above that 50% to look for an entry to sell with this trend. So my bias at the moment is going to be looking for a sell above the 50%. So I'm expecting this area of imbalance to be filled. So if we was to look for an entry off this level, we know we can easily target this area to be filled. Let's go to the next candle. So go forward one candle and there you go. Okay, so we see the pullback. Now you would be able to find some kind of entry on the lower time frame here, understanding this. We pull back into this level, we fill this imbalance straight away, and we've gone up to the 50% area of this candle. Now this is now going to show me a potential reversal. We're above that 50% on that Fibonacci pullback. And also we can now draw out this low as our swing low. So this is now my trading range. Now there is a video in this channel that goes through that trading range also, but this is now the trading range where I'm looking for that pullback. That's where we can start applying the use of the Fibonacci pullback at that area above that 50% into that golden area. Now, understanding everything here about these imbalances is key to understanding how to find an entry here. We're not talking about the entry, we're just looking for that directional bias. Now, we knew the directional bias changed once we saw this bullish candle closing back above this level. And we knew where price was going to go next to those areas of imbalance. Let's continue forward reading this bias. Now, currently, where could price now go next? Well, price has got to go to take these lows. So this now would be where we're looking for an entry out of here to target taking these lows. Now, once price takes these lows, as we saw here, we're not going to be looking for any more trades to the downside. We're looking for that counter trend trade. Remember, any entries here are counter trend. So if you're taking a counter trend trade on that pullback, remember, lower your risk. Your high risk entries are going to be taking them from this area of imbalance to the downside. So continue forward. We have an inside bearish candle. We may now see a take of the high of this candle and then a drop once again. So inside, we have a small pullback. And now we're starting to see the drop away. So we're now having, again, a reversal. We can mark off this level. This is where we see the same thing happening from the opposite direction. We see the push up, the hold of this level on once, twice, 3, 4 times, and eventually now we see the directional bias is changed back bearish. We're now closing this level, indicating the market from here will now take this low. That is how you read directional bias. That is the way I do with my directional bias, understanding all this. So we continue forward. You're going to see the market will now want to take this low. We continue to fall. Now on the way down, we can identify areas here of imbalance. We have a small area left over. And the market continues to wick down. Let's remove this arrow. And now we've wicked that low. Now for me, that is taking that low. So after we've seen this candle close, no more sales are on the table. Now I'll be looking for any pullbacks to this level. So let's now mark out with this level. If we see a reversal here, our bias is changing. Currently the bias is still bearish. We're waiting for a bullish bias to take a counter trend trade back up to look for a sell again. So let's continue forward. And remember, now our swing high becomes this high here in the market. Once we close this low, or we spike this low. We only need to see a wick taking that low. This now becomes my trading range. So from this high to this low is my trading range. My directional bias is still bearish. But if we see a reversal like we saw here, the bias will change back to the upside. Okay, so remember, we saw this candle showing you the bearish bias was once down again. So what do we have here? We have our 50% level right here. So we need to see the market come above this level into this area of imbalance before we can even look for any more sells. Let's continue forward. So we continue to go bearish. Now this level stays. Now we made a pullback. Retested again with this big wick to downside. Let's continue forward, but now we've closed back down. You can see the market's closed below this level, so now we can mark off our new level. Now the market started to show me a ranging market this low in the market. That's why we don't look for these sell trades here. Yes, you could have caught a sell at this area and we could have dropped back down, but why do you want to be doing that when you can look for a sell up here or up here on this occasion on this swing to downside? Let's continue forward. So now we can see we have a take of this low, which is a manipulation of the market. Now manipulations is in this channel as well. You can learn more on those. And also there is the course, the masterclass course. Now we can see here, the market's likely to want to close back above this level. We've wicked it, tested it. So the market is now retesting that area and we continue to drop. And now we see the push back up. So what has happened here? Now we've made that reversal. So our bias has now changed on the close of this candle. Just as we saw our bias change on this candlestick to downside at this level. And where we saw our bias change in this candlestick at this level. Now we see a bias change to the upside. At the same time, we've taken this previous low here, wicked above it. Now that lower high is going to be on a 1 hour time frame, a swing high. Now we will look at this in a moment as well. Once gone through this bias to see how you could take a trade on a lower time frame. But this is showing me now that the market's going to want to come back to retest this level and head back up to our areas of imbalance. Now our areas of imbalance, there's an area here. This is a new one being created. It was to this high of this candle, but now it's been filled halfway and we've left this smaller area over. And again, we can use our Fibonacci tool from this high to low. And we can identify our 50% is here, which means that this area of imbalance is going to be hit very easily because it's still below that 50% like we saw back here on this area of imbalance. So again, if we just go forward one candle, the price pushed down. Okay, we didn't quite test that level yet, but we now have left over is this area of bullish imbalance. So now we have an area, we see the reversal happening on this candle. Our bias now is bullish. We have a potential target, a potential entry zone. So now if we go one more candle forward, and again, and there we have it. So there is our manipulation to downside below these lows and a push into this area of imbalance. Now a nice strong close back bullish. We know this is going to take this level. So we go forward. Our bias is bullish at this point still. And we now wick into this imbalance. We haven't filled it. We make a higher low and we wick into that imbalance. So that target has now been filled. That imbalance has been filled. That shows you continuation of the higher lows. We may see a drop back and eventually a push through. Once we see the push through this level, we know we're going to go to the next level, which is here. Continue forward, we hold, and there it is. There's your momentum move to the upside, breaking and removing that area. And where do we go to? We actually retest this previous low. So we close at that previous low. Now, I've been looking for the market to continue up. Just move this across because what we've got here is still a small area left over where the market's going to want to go back to. Now, if we're looking for a reversal here, this is our level we'll be drawing. Looking for the market to go up to this area. Continue forward. So we're still bullish. And there you go. We've spiked through that area of imbalance. And we've closed back through this level. So currently, we're now looking for any tests of this level to look for any sell trades to go back to these lows. But before price is going to go to those lows, it would have to go to this area first. So this will be your first area expecting price to head. Now currently we also have here, I'll mark this off, this area of imbalance still above. Now this tells me that price still needs to go back up. Understanding on your range, this was a smaller range and this is your long-term bigger range, which tells me price may want to go back up into filling this imbalance, pick up more orders, taking this previous high and then to fall back down. Now to take this high, we need to see a close above this area, but that means we need to see a continuation higher. But currently we're looking for any sell trades now with this swing on this smaller swing back to downside. Okay, so now we've closed back up above this area, remove this area. That tells me price will now want to go and take this high and to go into this imbalance to sell. And that's what I'm looking for next to happen, for price to come up here to look for a next sell. We still have this smaller imbalance below as well. Now this means we can move this level up. We've just closed above. Now we've closed back down. Okay, so now it's looking like the market's showing a reversal, but we know that the market's got to go up to this area. So let's continue forward. We have a retracement. We have a manipulation now above these lows here. Okay, so the market's holding at this level. And what we're looking for is any reversal. So we reverse back up to this area. And the bias still currently is bullish. We haven't got a bearish bias because we've closed this level. But if we now look, we can start marking off this move down. So if we see a close back up, our bias will be back to the upside. So we continue to close down. And another continuation. Now we've actually shown an area, we made a higher low in the market. This area here is just a higher low, let's get that right. And we've just held below that level. We want to see it close back above. And now we've manipulated through and back down. So currently, the market is where we are. We're now seeing a manipulation of these lows. And what we want to see now is now a continuation to the upside. But we need to see it close back above this level to show us that bullish bias is still intact. Now you've seen exactly how you can use a directional bias on that daily time frame, using those areas of imbalances, understanding how to look at using those to find those trades. On a 1 hour time frame, I'm going to show you how you can actually start taking those trades. Now, this is that area where we see the reversal. This is a level where we see the break of that previous high. This level is the daily reversal level. We see the breakout, and this leaves this area of imbalance, which we see this next push up on the daily candlestick. Now, this is the area of imbalance where we're looking for price to pull back into on the 1 hour time frame. Now, this happens here. We drop in, we rally away, and we break structure. The market then pulls back into this area here. Now, on a lower time frame, you can probably look for a lower time frame entry of a confirmation entry. There's going to be an area of demand here or an area of imbalance, most probably on a lower time frame. Now, the market pulls back in, we get a run up into this area of imbalance. Now, like I said, this was an easy target. An entry from here to here is an easy target. This will be your next target. But understanding once the market hits this, you're expecting it to be filled. Now, it's not filled at this point. The market's going to come back to this area here of demand. We have a large down candle here, which leaves this area of demand. The market pulls back in. We rally back up to fill that area. And once again, we see this area of demand. Again, we see a break of structure. We pull back once again, and the market goes up to retest these highs, a final pullback, and there's your momentum breakout. When you see this breakout here, breaking this zone of imbalance, we know price will go to the next level. And it's here we can see the market pulls back inside this area of imbalance left over, bullish imbalance, and it goes back up to fill that area above. We even have a pullback again to manipulate this low, taking those stops, and finally the market goes up to take those previous highs again. So this is how you can start looking for trades on those lower time frames, understanding that directional daily bias. Went through the first part of this video. Now remember, there are videos on this channel ready to help you. There's a video on that trading range. Now there's also a video that goes through manipulations, and there's also the video on that imbalance trading strategy. All of these videos are here to help you succeed. This is my goal, to help traders. Now, if this video is giving you some value today, and I mean some real value, then don't forget to give me that thumbs up. It's going to help the channel. And obviously leave a comment below if there's anything you want to ask me about what I've gone through in today's video. But coming up right now is that video I said at the beginning of this video you need to watch next, which goes through understanding that reversal in the market, which will help you with that bias. So make sure you watch that next, and then I will see you in the next video.